In Europe and in North America, we see deep divisions in society, political divisions, religious divisions. We see hatred of Muslims being exploited for political purposes. This reminds me very much of Europe in the 1930s with anti-Semitism, the way that it was politicized in Germany. The United Kingdom is a society that is politically very divided at present over the issue of Brexit. And it's important for the country as a whole to remember that there are things that are more important than economic divisions, to remember where hatred can lead us, how the Yugoslavia disintegrated because people were not willing to live with each other.
I think it's so important and so timely for us to be talking about building bridges. We are starting to see a raft of incitement of hatred across Europe, and it's very important to remember what happened in 1995 and what hatred can actually lead to, and the fatality and the inhumanity that can disperse through communities. I think it's very important to be raising awareness of what happened in Srebrenica so that we can enable our young people and generally our communities with anecdotes of history so that they can challenge hatred in all its forms.
A few years ago, the charities Remembering Srebrenica got in touch with us at West London Synagogue to find out if we would be interested in taking part in the Memorial Week commemorations. And we thought about it for a very short time, and we came to the conclusion that not only did we want to get involved, that it was our duty as members of the Jewish community to help Remembering Srebrenica to get the message out, because unfortunately, in the Jewish community, we are rather expert at talking about genocide. Bridging the Divide, Confronting Hate is a brilliant name for this year's theme because it enables us working with the messages of the Srebrenica genocide to transpose those messages into a universal message. Especially nowadays, there's so much divisiveness, there's so much polarity going on. More than any other time probably in my life, we need to build bridges, we need to reach across divides, we need to include the other and to have a little bit more love and a little bit less hate. We're very privileged in this country. We have one of the most tolerant societies on earth, but it's not perfect. There's a lot of anti-Semitism, there's a lot of Islamophobia, there's a lot of hatred toward LGBT plus people and all sorts of other groups. We have still got a lot of work to do in order to fill the world with love.
So I teach religion, faith and crime. A lot of the work I do is around countering hatred and addressing issues of religion, crime, particularly around genocide as well, because it tends to be obviously both ethnicity and religion in terms of communities that are being targeted. I'm married to a Muslim, but come from a Christian tradition. So for me, personal experience has been also at the kind of heart of what I do. But I think it's so important that young people today are social activists. So the work I'm doing looks at how we move students from empathy and sympathy about these events to actually doing something about it. Right now we're going through some really difficult times, particularly with the rise of the far right. Some lunch and learn events that I've done as part of my initial pledge for Remembering Srebrenica, were really challenging staff at my university and students as well about what they share on social media. And quite often it is ignorance that is the main issue, that people just don't know. And so bridging the divide really is about getting different communities together, people from different ethnic backgrounds, different religious backgrounds, and sharing their similarities and celebrating their differences. So that really for me is why Bridging the Divide is the theme for this year.
I'm the co-director of Association British Muslims, which is the UK's oldest British Muslim organisation. And our role with Remembering Srebrenica is our friend Waqar Azmi started this campaign a few years ago, and we've been supporting it both in Birmingham, Manchester and London ever since through some of our networks, because it's something that is really needed this day and age, how we can remember those people in the past who've innocent people who suffered atrocities, whether in Europe or elsewhere. The United Kingdom is made up of many different groups. There's a lot of differences within our communities, and by bridging the divide and confronting hatred and ignorance, I think that is the key to the future. It's through ignorance and through hatred that there's a lot of problems in this world.